All right, ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to be talking about Silent Hill F yet again. Now, Silent Hill F is a video game that I've been looking forward to ever since its announcement. When I first saw this video game, I immediately thought that it looked extremely creepy. However, one of my biggest issues with Silent Hill F is that it just didn't look like a Silent Hill at all. Like, it didn't look like Silent Hill in the slightest. If anything, it looked like Fatal Frame with a little bit of melee combat. But now there's been other issues with Silent Hill F that we have been talking about a lot ever since the gameplay reveal, and that has to do with people calling it a Souls-like game. Now, apparently, there is going to be dodges, perfect dodges, parries, counterattacks. There's going to be a stamina bar, all kinds of stuff that are just a little bit different from your normal Silent Hill game. And when I first talked about this and said that the combat looks extremely not like Silent Hill, people were yelling at me. Some people anyway. A lot of people were agreeing, but some people were yelling at me and be like, well, it doesn't have to be. It's not technically Silent Hill. You know, it doesn't take place in... I'm like, bro, it has Silent Hill in the name. If you're going to utilize the name Silent Hill, people are going to have a little bit of expectations regarding Silent Hill. I'm not saying you can't do something different. I'm just saying that Silent Hill is just something that comes with a certain expectation, that kind of name, you know? So anyway, the director apparently has been hearing so much of this that he has now had to make a comment publicly about the game, and that it is not a Souls-like, no matter how much in common it might have with a Souls game. It says Silent Hill F's director insists that its dodge and counterattack systems don't make it a Souls-like. I think it's a label that's a little bit disingenuous. Now, I will say this, that the label of Souls-like gets misconstrued heavily, okay? It is a label that gets applied to damn near almost everything that even has a stamina bar these days. You know, back in the day, during Devil May Cry and games like that, those games will be labeled today as a Souls-like game, when they were in fact just action-adventure games. They were action combat games, hack and slashes, whatever you want to call them. Now, every single one of those games would be labeled a Souls-like. I think that's a little bit stupid. So I understand where he's coming from, but I think you also have to acknowledge that when people see combat like this, especially when you do the whole timed parry, perfect dodge, when you do the whole bonfire thing, respawning enemies, when you do, there's so much here. Again, I don't know if this game is going to have the bonfire system. I'm just saying, when you start seeing patterns, people are going to recognize it. That's why we as a species have something called pattern recognition. It helps us understand what we are looking at sometimes. He says we are an action game, horror game, but we are not a Souls-like. Konami gave us an extended look at how Silent Hill F plays earlier this month, and the horror prequel places a much heavier emphasis on combat than expected. With mechanics like a stamina bar, time dodges, and a powerful counterattack ability, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Silent Hill F looks rather like a Souls-like. Now, also, too, another thing, the fact that we are playing as, what, like a 14, 15-year-old Japanese schoolgirl, you know, running around with a whole bunch of different weapons, perfect parrying, counterattacking, dodging. Like, damn, bro, what are you, a ninja? Like, listen, I understand there's girls like that have been in anime for a long time, but this is Silent Hill. This is supposed to be a little bit more grounded, even though it's creepy and takes place in a psychological horror game. Still, man, like, I need a little bit more grounding happening here. But anyway, whatever. Konami has readily admitted to Silent Hill F's more combat-oriented focus. A few weeks back, Motoi Okamoto said that inserting more entertaining and thrilling action is a big part of the project. Now, he had said before that they were trying to go for the younger audience, right? They were trying to make combat that was going to be more interesting to younger audiences. And my biggest question to this is, why would you do that, considering the game is a mature rated game? If you are targeting under 18 for a mature rated game, that's a little bit of an oxymoron. I don't quite understand it. Obviously, we all know that parents are going to buy these games for their kids. Some parents, not all of them, but some. But it doesn't mean that you focus your entire game on that when you have a mature rating on the game. Yet, in a most recent interview, Okamoto pushed back against the Souls-like comparisons, insisting that Silent Hill F is not one of them. This is one of the things that we'd see, the term Souls-like, being thrown around on the internet quite a bit. Okamoto told IGN, and I think it's a label that's a little bit disingenuous. Modern plays will see like, oh, there's a stamina meter, there's a dodge, and like, okay, it's a Souls-like. I agree. I agree 100%. I hate that I have to agree with him because I don't like the direction they're taking with this game, but I have to agree with him 100%. That label gets put out there disingenuously on damn near everything, and it's sickening. It really is. Like, not everything is a Souls-like, and this is why people think that there is a Souls-like fatigue, and the reason why is because everything's being labeled a Souls-like when 1/3 of the content should not be labeled a Souls-like. A lot of games should not be labeled that, but they get labeled anyway. But Okamoto says that these systems were not inspired by Dark Souls and its legion of imitators. Rather, he claims Silent Hill F draws from elements present in the horror series for years. He uses Silent Hill F's focus meter, which increases your counterattack window while charging up an enemy's staggering ability, as an example. A lot of these things we actually pull from classic Silent Hill titles, Okamoto says. Look at Silent Hill 4. There's a charge meter for your attacks, kind of like our focus meter. And even for Silent Hill 3, there's a stamina meter. You see it later on. Citing the series' own history, Okamoto points out that these things aren't new and exclusive to Souls-like games, and that they've been part of action horror games for a very, very long time. If you have these things, you're labeled a Souls-like. And we would like to reiterate that we are an action horror game, but we are not a Souls-like. Now, even though previous Silent Hill games had these particular mechanics in it, they did not play like the game is currently playing now in modern times, right? The game absolutely, when you look at the way that the character dodges, the way the character parries, you would not be, it would not be totally out of the realm to think, oh, wow, this is a interesting take on Silent Hill. It's very clear that this is going for a more action-oriented feel, a damn near horror Souls-like. I get it. I understand why people are throwing that term around, because looking at the gameplay, I can see it. And clearly, a lot of people can see it, which is why that term is being thrown around. But we also have to be careful throwing that term around just willy-nilly like that, because not everything is a fucking Souls-like. But anyway, citing the series' own history, he does point all of that out, and that they're not exclusive to Souls-like games, and that this might have been seeming like splitting hairs, but Okamoto does have a point. My own brain tends to yell Souls-like whenever I see a game that has dodge and counter combat in it, but a proper Souls-like DNA is as much in its structure as its systems, and I agree with that too. The checkpoint-based progression, where enemies respawn when you die, the world, which unfurls with shortcuts and surprises that you explore. These games are not just about how nimble your parry finger is. Then again, if Silent Hill F includes kooky NPCs who speak in gnomic phrases before cackling like a tickled witch, then it's probably fair to call it a Souls-like. Now, again, guys, in terms of Souls-like and what it means, for me, Souls-like means a lot more than just the combat system. It's the way that the world plays out, like the article said. It's the fact that as you're exploring the world, it feels like an open world that is locked behind really well-designed shortcuts, really well-designed level design. The enemy, the world is trying to kill you more than the actual bosses are. Sometimes there are some areas that are more difficult than the boss that you fight at the end of the area, right? It's also how the story plays out. The story is a story that's told to you through the world and not through narration, right? You're not going to find out the story of Dark Souls games because the game is telling you. You're only going to find out very little. They're going to set the stage, and everything else is going to be told through the NPCs inside the world and also the items. If you look at the items, every single item has a description with a little bit of story in it. And as you read all the items, you can start piecing together this story, and before you know it, you are just discovering a whole bunch of stuff. So that is how Souls-like games are for me. There's a very particular way that they are in terms of how they play and how they're structured, and we don't know if Silent Hill F is going to be like that. He can say that it's not a Souls-like, and then we could get in it, and it's literally a Souls-like horror game. That can actually happen. So I guess we're going to have to find out, wait and see what's going to go on when this game releases, but you could bet your ass that I'll be reviewing this game on Hypnotic Gaming Live on our show Grivcast every day, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern. I will be reviewing this game when it releases. So if you're curious about what this game actually has, then come check out my channel, my gaming channel, and we will see from there what this game has. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.